Crime is going to be a big talking point in the 2024 elections, just like it was in the 2022 midterms. We already hear candidates like Ron DeSantis telling us that Democratic cities are overrun with crime. And on the Democratic side, we hear Biden talking about how the white supremacists are going to burn us down in the streets. What do you think?
I think obviously crime is an issue here in the United States. To say that it's not is to ignore reality. And we don't ignore reality even when it doesn't fit our narratives. But Ron DeSantis has gone out there repeatedly, especially after Trump got indicted in Manhattan, and he said, well, this prosecutor's not focusing on crime. Crime is out of control in New York City.
It is. I mean, but compared to Florida, there's some, make some comparisons.
Yeah. So yes, crime, property crime has gone up in New York. Violent crime has gone down. Then you turn around and you look at Florida. Well, property crime has gone down in Florida, but violent crime, murders, rapes have gone up through the roof more than New York. So you're more likely to get killed here than you are in New York City.
Okay, now how many journalists do you think actually analyze that? And isn't it easier to say, look at Chicago. 50 people got shot in Chicago this past week. They don't pay a lot of attention to it because it's black on black crime, unfortunately. It's still people getting shot. LA, they got, but the point is this. They don't really make comparisons before they go there. And that's what the statistics say about when a politician uses the crime card. It's very effective. I mean, it is like twice as effective as an ad that doesn't have some kind of scare aspect to it.
Right.
And the interesting thing about the statistics on it are when the message is a scare tactic, then the person hearing the scare tactic is only going to read and absorb the things that agree with that. So they'll seek out more information. In other words, LA crime is crazy. People getting shot in San Francisco. You can't walk down the street without getting mauled. They're going to sense that. They're going to hear that. And then they're going to go out and they're going to seek out information that tells them that same story. It just enables it even further. It heightens it even further. Both sides do it, Trump is out there saying the Mexicans are coming across the border to kill us and to traffic our children, and MS-13 is here with all their tattoos, and you ought to be afraid, be very afraid. And then Biden, the pitch is Klansmen and neo-Nazis and white supremacists are going to take over Washington, D.C. They're going to take over your state houses. They're going to be, they're going to watch democracy perish in the streets if you don't vote for Biden. It's both sides, because they both know it's effective.
Well, and I got to say, the Democrats are actually really bad at it, because for decades now, Republicans have been using crime as a campaign issue. They show it in their ads. And again, this goes back to the 1980s, trying to show Democrats are bad on crime.
Lee Atwater.
Exactly.
Lee Atwater.
But then again, when you look at the statistics, which the Democrats have these statistics, y'all just too dumb to use them in an ad. But the top 10 cities in the United States with the worst crime rates, 8 of them are Republican cities. And these cities in Florida, Miami, Tallahassee, Jacksonville, have higher crime rates than San Francisco or LA.
But if you ask about the average voter, if you ask about it, they'll say, oh, hell no. LA, San Francisco, New York, much worse crime than Florida. Because nobody takes time to analyze it, and there's a reason for it. That's the point I'm trying to make. Is when somebody hears it, they embrace it, and then they seek out information that is just like that. They want to absorb that information. So the truth is, it works. And the answer to it, if it sounds too scary, it probably is. That's the point to all this.
But it is going to be a massive issue in next year's election. I mean, especially we got Trump under indictment in New York and now the federal indictment. So crime is at the top of everybody's list. We're going to see more of this. And the Democrats, if they weren't so stupid and lazy, is the only words I can use, because y'all have the statistics. Y'all could just go out there and say what's actually happening.
Didn't we see it with Santos? Remember Santos?
Yes.
Okay, Santos had all of this crazy stuff, man. He was a liar. He was a thief. And it was all true. The guy was a con man. And the Democrats had all that to run against him. But rather than doing that, they took the Democratic Party line and just ran some.
They said we didn't want to go too negative.
We didn't want to go too negative. Really. So here he is. There he sits.
Yeah.
Farron, thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
That's all for this week, but all these segments are going to be available throughout next week, and make sure you follow us on Twitter at America's Lawyer. I'm Mike Papantonio, and this has been America's Lawyer, where we tell you stories that corporate media just won't tell you because their advertisers don't let them or their political connections don't allow for it. We'll see you next time.